There you go, friends. Doc South here. And I was just, I think I've done a video already, probably not too long ago. So it should be the one that is just before the one you're reading now, you're looking at now, where I was talking about hearing the coming out of where near where I work, and the police were busy wildly responding to something up one of the highways near the store I work at, and flying. I mean, they were they were definitely not going to be stopping at any stop sign the way they were tooling along. Something had to be up. One and then another right behind them, maybe a half mile behind, but catching up. Yeah, and maybe more on the scene wherever they're going. Maybe not just police, fire, rescue, the whole schmeal. And then also, I saw that twice today. There was another spot where, gosh, I all of a sudden these fire trucks just came rolling down the road from uh, near where I live to help out in a neighboring town where evidently a house had caught fire. Evidently, a fire developed under the solar panels of this particular house, which I guess could happen. And that, I guess, that'd be a little hard to get out unless you had a bucket loader, a bucket hose, because then maybe you could get under it and just kind of get the top of the peak of the roof and just nail the water, nail it with water. And of course, it's going to get the house awful wet, but it's better than it burning down, I suppose. But that all got me to thinking how I don't do that kind of thing now. I am getting pretty old I would be old for that kind of thing, but I try to serve in other ways by doing these videos, radio shows, events like that. It's probably more up my alley nowadays, now that I'm no longer a spring chicken. And you do got to be, you can't be chicken, but you got to be, you got to be spring certified. It's a young man's thing to deal with some of the stuff the police, the fire, the rescue got to deal with. Climbing ladders with, you know, uh, hoses and stuff, and gosh, riding 95 miles an hour with someone screaming in the back of the ambulance, and or again being a patrolman sneaking up on a house that's where the neighbors have reported there's some guy trying to get into the house, and now you're the policeman in charge. Oh, it's all tough stuff, and you got to hand it to those people. God bless them. It's so cool. But whew, tell you, I know in my case, I've just got to say, you've just got to say these people are something else. It's really, really cool to see and to think about them, how um, they're really willing to give it all uh, to help someone else. It's a pretty good. They definitely deserve a handshake and a thank you anytime you see them. That's for sure. And they'll kind of, oh shucks, twart nothing. But no, they like hearing that kind of thing. I know. Gosh, when I did rescue, it was always nice to have someone come in and thank you. I know there was one case where I don't know, there was some rescue done, and the people involved brought in a meal for us, a really nice meal for the duty crew. Yeah. There was another case where some girls were saved again. Another situation. Turned out they were a singing group. They came in and sang for us. Yeah. We had a dinner or something. They came in and just sang songs. Yeah. Little doing what they can to say thank you. It's nice. I would suggest, I would suggest by all means thanking these people when you see them. Not necessarily, maybe not necessarily at the scene of the emergency, but when you see them. Maybe you see them in the store. Maybe you see them, I don't know, at a carnival doing something, maybe running a booth, or watching the carnival. Patrolman on call, fire company maybe on call, rescue certainly on call, and just say thanks. It goes such a long way, and it really helps these people. Sometimes they'll have had such a bad night. You can't imagine some of the awful things they see. I, I wouldn't even want to tell you some of them that I ran into. Just horrible stuff, and to the point where I know there's been many a night, and I'm sure all these other people, all the other policemen, firemen, rescue people, I I can guarantee you there are times when they come home and they just break down into sobs. They'll probably not, they probably won't want to admit it except to maybe one another. But you can almost guarantee it. The stuff they have to do and the things they have to deal with are just insane, absolutely insane. I remember, I'm trying to think. I think there was a case where I think there, and I don't think I'm making this up, but it would be typical. We had a call where someone, I think a teenager, died of an overdose in their home, and we had to tell the parents that their child was dead. Hmm. God, and I remember I got through that okay, and of course we offered our condolences and all that, and did all we could. But I remember I came home that day. Now I lived alone down in North Carolina. I had friends, I had a girlfriend, but she didn't live with me necessarily. Good girlfriend. But I remember coming home. Now I was divorced from my kids' mom and living in the South. I saw my kids whenever I could, but it was about every 2 or 3 months. I wrote them every day, called them every week, um, sent them presents, sent them letters from what my life was like down in North Carolina, always trying to be upbeat. But I remember there was this one night where a girl had, like I said, she had passed away from an overdose, and we had to take the body home, back to the morgue, and uh, there would be autopsies run and such. And I remember I came back into my house, walked into my basically I had a very small bungalow, walked over to where I kept had a little mantle, and I just looked at my kids looking like this on their school photos. They have all those poses and stuff. And there was the same kind of picture at that house where the girl had passed. And I'm looking at my kids again. That day of the picture, the world was their oyster. But I thought, oh my God, that girl that just did the drugs and died, that could just as well be. I just kept looking at the picture. And honestly, I don't think I had much thought to it. I was just looking at it. And then all of a sudden, man, I just stood there and cried, I'll bet you for an hour. At the thought that my kids are living in a world that is so, sooner or later you leave and they'll be gone. And it just hit me. And I'll bet you, like I said, a good hour's worth of sobbing away. It was absolutely hideous. And yet it had to come out. It's no, when you see the police and fire and rescue, those good people, soldiers too, uh, from all the services, they uh, they really put it on the line for you. And some of the things that get into their head and that they have to do and that they have to live with can really be can really get at you every now and then. It can really hit you hard, and you just want to, anything you can do to brighten their day, so much the better. I'm just saying, it's a good thing to do. I'll see you later. God bless them. You know what? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. This is for all the first responders. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. So be it. You know, I never walked into that squad hall to be on duty without saying the Lord's Prayer as I walked from my car to the front door. Never. You darn near, you just plain had to. I don't know if you could get through it without. Anyway, I'll see you later. God bless.